And welcome to the Pages Show. I'm your host, Happy Chico, California. Here comes the boom. And welcome to the show. How's it going this evening? So we have the Oregon thing. The standoff continues. And we have one man dead. Needless to say, we don't know if he had a gun or not. And let's move on. It's just crazy, but let's focus on the reason why this happened in the first place. The entire reason why the militiamen had to come out to Oregon to the Hammond's aid in the first place. The public officials. Let's start at the top here. Judge Grassi. Judge Grassi's brother works for the BLM. So wouldn't you think if you have a brother in the BLM, you're going to side with him every time on cases that relate to land? You are going to do everything you can to keep the BLM out of the spotlight if you have a brother that works for them. And you can go over and read about what other types of corruption that he's been involved in. I'm not going to get into that because I don't want this video to be very long. Sheriff Ward. Seemed like a good old guy. He was like, oh yeah, you guys come out, you guys can all go. Yeah, I'll meet with you. Backstabbed him. But little did we know that Sheriff Ward used to work for the BLM. So we have a sheriff working in a county that used to work for the BLM. So what is he going to do? He's going to work with the BLM. He's going to work with the feds on every level because he used to be one of them. And that is one of the problems that we are having across the country. Going into police stations, we are having feds move in. We are having former FBI agents becoming a part of local police force. So of course they are going to side with the feds, and they are not going to protect their jurisdiction, which is the people. And what did Sheriff Ward do? He gave over full jurisdiction to the federal government instead of protecting those people. Instead of kicking out the feds, he worked with them. He brought them in. Which means anytime the BLM has an infraction against a rancher or against the people in general, he's going to side with them. Think about that. And not to mention, he also testified against the Bundys. Not the Bundys, the Hammonds, excuse me. He testified against the Hammonds in court. So he wants the siege over because he knows that the longer it goes on, the more people are going to dig into his past and realize that he has been a part of this entire thing from the beginning. Let's move on. The next person, Amanda Marshall. Why is she important? Because she was appointed by Obama. Worked on a case involving Hammond's 13-year-old son. She's a prosecutor. She's a federal prosecutor. And she worked on the case involving the Hammond son because he was wrapped up in the child services. She is the one who came up with the idea that she wanted the Hammonds to serve the mandatory 5 years. After working in the child services with their son. Talk about a conflict of freaking interest there. Should have been thrown out. But no. Judges like Judge Grassi wants this to keep on going. Then we move on to the federal judge, Judge Ann Atkin. Who was she appointed by? She was appointed by the Clintons. Husband also worked for the Oregon Democratic Party as a chair. And it's just ridiculous. Over and over again, these people have conflicts of interest. Her husband that passed away used to be the head of the Democratic Party for Oregon. She's tied to the Clintons. She knows the Clintons because she was appointed by them. So she's possibly still working for them. And these are basically plants. They put these people in, just like the mob, to do their bidding. That's why it's so important that we realize who is really running the show in our counties, so we can regain a control and protect our private property. That's why it's so important. She called the Hammonds terrorists for setting those backfires. Terrorists. While the BLM does the exact same thing. And yet they cause more damage. Moving on to the next set of affairs. We have Agenda 21. Go look up Agenda 21. It calls for people to be moved off of their land and forced into megacities. It's crazy, and it's all right there. And that's what the BLM is doing and working across the country to uphold Agenda 21 to get this done. Hillary Clinton's foundation is selling uranium on the West Coast, including supposedly the uranium under the Hammonds Ranch. And they're using the BLM to strong-arm people off their land. She is selling uranium to the Russians. This is like a James Bond film here. And the company is called Roscom. And they bought the Canadian company Uranium One. And her foundation is going off and like paying off all these people so that she can strong arm the people off the land to sell the uranium. The BLM is supposed to work with the farmers and protect and maintain the land. They aren't supposed to be like they're frickin' Pinkertons that kick people off their land. Kate Brown, Governor Kate Brown, wasn't even elected. She was just appointed because of the corruption from the last governor. And now she has her own little party. Because of the fact she called for a Waco-style standoff. She told the feds to move in and end this. And in my opinion, the reason why is because these militiamen and the Oath Keepers and all these alternative news outlets were bringing to light all of this corruption that has been going on inside that county. And now it's all coming out. So, in fact, they didn't even need to take over that refuge to expose this. All they had to do was dig. That's all they had to do, and it would all come out. But now someone is dead, and that sucks. And it's very sad. It is very freaking sad that someone had to die. And we must basically avenge his death in a peaceful manner by taking these people down through the legal system and suing the living hell out of them and not letting this happen again. Across the country, we need to stand up and clean out our local officials and hold them accountable. That is the only way that we're going to be able to stop this from continuing to go down. is by realizing how much power we really have and going after these public officials and exposing them. Thanks for listening to the Patriot Rooster Show. If you like what you hear, share my videos. You can follow me soon at patriotrooster.com, where I'm going to be posting hard-hitting alternative articles from all over the web. Having a little growing pains. Moved on to a bigger server. Forgot how to use a FTP, but now I'm figuring it out. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.